across round 6, 8 teams won, 8 teams lost, but let's be honest, some teams, players and coaches won a little bit more or lost a little bit more than others. So let's go through the biggest winners and the biggest losers of round 6, 2024. Let's try and get this video up past the 1K barrier. Show it to your mate. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to Daz Talks Footy, and let's get into it. Alrighty, big win goes to the Bulldogs. I was more than happy to pot them last week when they went terribly. So, credit where credit is due. They were fantastic. Their set shot goal kicking, their work around the ball, their defensive transition, the way they were able to operate between the arcs with and without the footy were both spectacular. A massive win for the Doggies. Very happy for Bevo. I do not say that with any disingenuine intent, unlike most of the mainstream footy media. I can be on both sides of the fence. With more information comes more opinion. I don't think this is what the Bulldogs are, and I'm also very happy to accept that what the Bulldogs were last week is also not what they are. They're 3-3, they're an inconsistent football team, but if you're going to do something to another inconsistent football team, smacking them by 10 goals is never going to be a bad thing. Well done to the Western Bulldogs. These assholes, on the other hand, are not getting away with this at all, and you might think, Daz, stats are empty. What's going on? They didn't show up. Why should I for them? And I'm not a St Kilda supporter, but how are St Kilda supporters still St Kilda supporters? Now, a game like this isn't going to make you jump ship. I understand that. But the one flag, the fact that it's boring, redundant, it's crap. You take away the last quarter of the Giants game, their last 7 quarters, well, 7 of their last 8 quarters, they're minus 98 points. It's not as if they're defending well anymore, and they're certainly not attacking. What is this? What are you as a football club? Because right now, the one word that is summing you up is soulless. Jack Higgins is in spectacular form. Jack Steele has been pretty good. Quieter on the weekend, but as the season progresses, Jack Steele's been excellent. Jack Higgins has been awesome. That's about it. A lot of factors went into the Adelaide and Essendon game, and whilst we can debate the holding the ball decision until the cows come home, yes, it should have been paid, but the Bombers should have put the game behind them. Already at that point, Taylor Walker dropped his head. A lot of factors here. But I'm more of who was in control on the field, and unfortunately, Josh Rachele had some moments in the last quarter that he'd like to take back. Now, I am going to start this spiel the way I start most of my criticism spiels, is that I would do 1,000 times worse job than Josh Rachele ever could. I never approach these things as, oh, anyone could do that. That's not what I'm saying. I can only observe what I see. He shirked a couple of contests. Hopefully he'll be better for it. He is a talented player, and those stats certainly don't describe a scrub. And I've got no problem with his goal celebrations. I'm not saying he needs to stop his personality in order to become a better footballer. I hope he can learn and grow from this. Sometimes it's as simple as that, guys. If Will Hoskin-Elliott has played a better game of football than this, then I don't remember what it is, to be honest. He was amazing in Collingwood's win over Port Adelaide, and we'll talk about their mob in just a second. But the Pies, they were fantastic. 29 down in that second quarter. Came back, took the game over. They were outstanding. And what really impressed me with Will was his ability to do things without the ball as well. His ability to get back, his ability to cover territory. Some days you're going to be rewarded, as you can see with those stats. That is definitely a rewarding afternoon in the office. Sometimes you might not be. That is okay. But if you are going to malign a guy, and Will Hoskin-Elliott is definitely that kind of player, again, if you want to pot him for the days he has 9 disposals and not a lot of impact, give him the credit here. He was best on ground in this game, and that includes Bobby Hill, includes Nick Dacos. Will Hoskin-Elliott was the best player on the MCG against a contender. That means something, and it means a lot. Are the Pies back? Are they back to their premiership contenderism? Is that a word? I don't know. I also don't know if the Pies are, but if they're going to prove it, this would be the game to start with, for absolute sure. This one might also seem harsh. I'm actually going to give a loser to Connor Rozee here, and they're not for the stats that are on the screen. Plenty of captains have had worse performances than that. 2 of them at Arden Street were barely this combined. But You've got a contending team, first team as captain, first massive test for mine, came up a little short. Wasn't able to drag the teammates over the line, didn't look like he took it too personally on the field. He's going to grow. He's going to be better for this. But I've been someone that has called for better leadership at other football clubs before. Got to remain consistent. I've got no problem with Connor. I'm sure he'll have 28, kick 3 next week and be in green this time next week. So I'm not going to hold it too far against him at all. But major test, MCG, reigning premier, didn't get it done. Anytime a player can come back from injury, a long-term or a scary injury, is an amazing thing. But we do love it when a player can bounce back in style. Sam Walsh is back at some stage. I'm sure there were reports of he is highly unlikely to play in the first half of the season. But when you come back, you just kind of want to ease into things, and that's what he's averaging after the first fortnight. Like, he's a midfield cheat code at this point in time. Cripper, outstanding. Could have been on here. Tom de Koning could have been on here. 2 weeks, back injury, Sam Walsh, here he is. And if you are redrafting that 2018 group and not taking Walsh first, I want to be picked 2 in your draft, please. And thank you. The Blues also, they were fantastic. One of the wins of the round for mine, if not the win of the round, and one of the wins of the season. They were just unreal, and what a game against Geelong we've got next week. My goodness. Speaking of awesome wins, Geelong had a fantastic win, and the way Chris Scott was able to orchestrate that win was fantastic. I'm going to give the winner here, though, to a bit of an underrated performer, and that being Jack Bowes. He wasn't the cleanest player on the ground. He mightn't have even been the best player on the ground, but the way he was able to use his bigger body, his size, his strength, and the fact that he set up a defensive midfield wall at crucial times against the Lions was key and was awesome. I think he's been fantastic since coming back into the senior side. And look, this could have gone to 5 different Geelong blokes. Tyson Stengel stands out. Zach Guthrie's way of taking over the Tom Stewart role when Stewart had to go off the ground were all spectacular. Sometimes you just got to give it to a bloke who you loved watching on the night, and this is Jack Bowes to a T, in my opinion. What more can you say? West Coast, whether you want to highlight Adam Simpson, Harley Reid, Elliot Yeo, Jake Waterman, Jack Darling, a smattering of others in this win, they were amazing, and that's what they did to a Fremantle side. I don't really have other words to say. It's fun to watch. They're 2 from 2 in their last 2 games at home. I don't think they're going to be a spectacular team on the road, but if they can still be competitive throughout this rebuild phase, they're going to turn it around quicker than North Melbourne and Hawthorn are. It's as simple as that. Rich club, rich history, and if they can continue to put these kind of performances together, they will accelerate at a rapid knot. If I said to you West Coast won a flag before Freo did, how surprised would you be on a scale of 1 to 10? After Saturday night, I think that number gets a little bit lower. And the best thing you can do as a coach is win games of footy, and Adam Simpson has done that in the last fortnight, and no one wants to sack him. So, who would have thought? Did Elliot Yeo deserve the Ross Glendenning medal? Yes, he did. Unfortunately, Harley may have deserved it a little bit more. And these fucking vanilla, boring-ass bastards can jump in the fucking losers bit as well. I don't want to watch them anymore. I don't want to watch St Kilda that much at the moment. Because if you're going to be a defensive first team, defend. And you conceded over 100 points. But move the ball. Do you know how many handball receives Freo had in that first half? They had 7. Now, that's not true, but you didn't doubt that much, did you? They just didn't move the ball. They didn't want to take territory. They couldn't score. Their smalls are out of form. It's boring. It's batshit. I'm sick of watching it, and frankly, I'm sick of this football club masquerading as something that they're not. I don't care how many wins they have this year. I don't care if they make finals. They're nowhere near a flag playing like this. Hey, Brodie Grundy's a really good ruckman. Who would have thought? Did the buy come at the right time? Probably. He bitched Gold Coast on the weekend, and he was fantastic. Those stats speak for themselves. I said in my 60-second review, which a lot of you watched either on YouTube or TikTok. Go follow me on TikTok if you haven't yet, at Daz Talks Footy. So go ahead and do that. I would really appreciate that. But Sydney are a team that know how to be good. Gold Coast are trying to be good, and we saw the stark difference. Sometimes it really is as simple as that. But if your ruckman can do what Brodie Grundy did, you are well on your way. Also really liked what Taylor Adams did in that first quarter as well. Errol got into the game a little bit, and Sydney's midfield are operating nicely without Chad Warner being great. Like, he's been fine. So, it's pretty scary for a team that's expecting Mills back at some point. Well done, Sydney. Massive well done. And I know the photo's got Clarko in it, but North Melbourne's entire coaching staff need to kick up the arse for crying out loud. Their ball skills are deplorable. I watched it in action. I was there. I was at Marvel. I was on level 3. I don't like level 3. Daz is a massive sook when it comes to heights, but I stuck it out. And seriously, North don't have a lot of structure ahead of the ball at the best of times. And then they also can't kick. And they overhandball. It's not great. Defensively, they weren't bad from entry. So Hawthorn scored nearly 50 points from turnover and scored 45 points from stoppage. Neither of those things is the backline's fault. From general play and from score launches that weren't turnovers, Hawthorn only kicked like 2 goals too. Their actual back six weren't terrible. Like, their midfield shit, and they wanted to build their list from the midfield out. And they can't do anything from clearance. They can't do anything from the back half. They're kicking the contest and they're not taking contested marks. They're so bad. And the way they're playing football is not the way to win matches. So Clarko, coaching staff, none of it is working. None of it. So I feel bad for North fans, I really do, because you're up against another team that's 0-5, and that game was over 10 minutes into the second quarter. Not good. Now, you might be thinking, isn't that it? We've gone through all the games, some winners, some losers. No, we are not. Loser. An extra one. Ding, ding, ding. Extra loser. This fucking movie is, oh my God. Challenges fucking sucks. And I was trying to explain just how much I hate this fucking movie. And I have the perfect analogy, right? This movie goes for nearly 2 hours. This movie can be summed up in 6.5 minutes. Now, I'm not going to do the entire 6.5 minutes, but there is a scene in another movie that sums up this movie and what it's about perfectly. And it's this. If you don't know what this is, that's okay. This is the first 6.5 minutes of Saw 7, the final chapter. Not actually the final chapter. There's 3 more after this. Her name's Dina. Okay? Dina is sleeping with both of these dudes, Brad and Ryan, right? Challenges. This chick, who Zendaya plays, sleeps with both of these dudes throughout different points of their lives, together, apart, all that shit, because she got injured playing tennis and now can't deal with the fact that she couldn't be successful. And Saw 7, just go watch that. It's worse. Both of these things are terrible. Saw 7 sucks. But one of them goes for 6.5 minutes, and at least you get some bad, dumb, gory shit. In this, you get fuck all. It's awful. Don't watch it. And that's why I'm going to give a winner to a movie this weekend that I watched and I loved. Puppy Love. This is a rom-com with the chick off Pretty Little Liars and a dude I've never heard of before. And it is heartwarmingly awesome. If you're a dude who is a nerd, whether you grew up as a nerd or you're a nerd now, whatever your interpretation of nerd is, you will fucking love this movie. So, look, if you're better half or you on your own want to sit down and watch a rom-com, this is on Amazon Prime. Go watch this. Do not fucking watch Challenges. They are the winners and losers from round 6, 2024. I hope you're safe, you absolutely awesome people. Even though the footy will already be on, I am going to put out a video on either Wednesday or Thursday. Maybe Thursday night will be the way that goes, but I'm going to do a second video this week. I did awful in the tips. Hopefully you didn't go as badly, and I didn't do that great in Supercoach either. So, an up and down weekend for Daz. Hopes yours was spectacular. Stay safe, my friends. I'll see you for the next video. Make sure you like if you like the video. Subscribe to join the Daz Talks Footy family, and I will see you in the next one.